Alright, you guys, I haven't done a top surgery video in a while, and I like to do them from time to time. So, hi, my name's MJ. I'm a trans man. I have had top surgery, but I decided to leave fat, which I will get into in this video. I like to do these sometimes just to raise awareness that there's different types of top surgery, why I made the decision I did. The number one question I get asked, obviously, is why did you leave fat? Trans men want to know this because a lot of trans men, understandably, want as flat of a chest as possible, and I understand that after years of dealing with dysphoria, when you finally have access to top surgery, it's like, why would you want to have any noticeable fat in your chest? And I completely get that. And on the other hand, a lot of cis men are surprised I chose to leave fat because a lot of them want to get rid of, like, moobs, like they don't want them, so they can't believe that somebody would actually go under the knife for them. The reality is that obviously I'm a bigger guy and I hold a lot of fat in my stomach, and cis men with my build do not have flat chests. It's just not really realistic. They just don't. So that's the number one reason why I chose to leave fat, because in my opinion, it just goes with my body more. It looks a little bit more natural, and I just felt like it suited my body type, in a more rational manner, I guess. I'm not saying, like, everybody has their own thing, whatever floats your pickle or lack thereof, I don't care, but I wanted these results because I felt like with my body, they looked a lot more natural. The second question I get asked is, what if you decide to lose weight? Well, I got top surgery when I was 245, and usually I'm about 230 to 240, so around the same weight, but I have gone down to, like, 50 pounds under, 40 to 50 pounds under, and it really doesn't matter. My chest does go down with the rest of me as I lose weight, but it does not get completely flat, and for that I'm very thankful, because I always have, like, some chub and some loose skin in my stomach, so I still don't feel like a completely, like, flat chest would go with my body. I think if I did lose a dramatic amount of weight and my chest sagged a little bit, so would my stomach, so it would look natural, and that's what I'm going for. Another reason that I chose to leave fat in my chest is because of scarring. Now, I totally get why a lot of trans men like their scars, they value them, they take pride in them, but the reality is, like, when I'm on the beach and things like that, my goal is to blend in as a dude. Like, a lot of times, like, I'll grow out my facial hair, or I'll try not to talk a lot, things that I know out me, and scars would out me. I mean, that would out me as a trans male. You can't really see my scars unless I lift my arms up, so you can kind of see them then, but they go with the curvature of my chest, so you don't really notice them, and that was really important. Hi, thank you for your question. I gotta do my spiel first. My name is MJ. I'm a trans man. I've had top surgery. I just chose to leave fat because I'm a bigger dude and I felt like it went better with my body composition. I always joke that, like, I'm probably the only guy on the planet that was ecstatic to get man boobs. Okay, so when I had top surgery, I was probably about 245 pounds, in that ballpark range. I wasn't that much heavier than I am now. However, before I go into what I'm about to say, I need to illustrate how important top surgery was for me. And not to say it's not for you, because it might be, but, I do think my advice really hinges on how important top surgery is for somebody to lead, like, a quality, fulfilling life. My gender dysphoria was such a hindrance on my life that even before I transitioned, even before I socially transitioned, just when, like, I was presenting as a masculine lesbian, I still was looking into top surgery. I remember confiding in one of my friends who was a trans man, and he's like, but aren't you a lesbian? Like, why do you want this? But gender dysphoria was literally, it was just, I don't know how else to say it, a huge hindrance on my life. I really struggled. It really affected my quality of life, and surgery for me was life-changing. It was life-saving. It drastically improved my quality of life. For me, I would say that top surgery was not a choice. I know there's people out there who will ignore facts, who will ignore, like, actual evidence and say gender-affirming surgeries in general, they are just an option. But it's literally been clinically proven that when it comes to gender dysphoria, the most effective way to treat it is to transition. Now, if your gender dysphoria, like, in the chest area or whatever, is literally to the point where it is, like, impacting the quality of your life to a standard that you're not comfortable with, similar to what I was dealing with, my advice, if you're in the US anyways, I don't know how it works as much in other countries, is to find a different surgeon. Now I gotta do the whole, I'm not a doctor, you know what I mean? But seriously, if it is hindering your life just as much as it did mine, then my suggestion would be to seek out a doctor who does not have the same, like, BMI. I went to 2 different consultations, and the first one was like this real high-class spa type place, I don't know. And I also had other consultations scheduled. I had filled out paperwork for other places, and not one place mentioned my weight. The only time my weight was brought up is when I spoke with the surgeon that I chose, and we were discussing like how I wanted some fat in my chest to look, you know, natural or whatever. So that's the only time my weight was mentioned. Now, the reason I put so much, like, you know, stress and emphasis on, you know, gender dysphoria and how much it's impacting your life is because a lot of these BMI limits and stuff that surgeons put on, like, I mean, they serve a purpose. They're not there for no reason. Obviously, in some situations, including being under anesthesia, there is a heightened risk, you know, if you're carrying more weight. But I don't think that's always a realistic standard to trans people specifically. The reason I say that is because obviously, and trigger warning, I'm going to mention something sensitive, in our community, you know, unaliving is so common, and the main factor, or I shouldn't say the main, a main factor is dysphoria. I think that if surgeons that performed gender-affirming surgeries digested that fact a little bit more, then they'd take it more seriously and they wouldn't put so much emphasis on a BMI limit. The reason I say this is because, yes, being a bigger guy, I had risks with top surgery. I did have complications, not related to my weight, but I did have complications, you know what I mean? But not because there's not risks, but because the risks of anesthesia, are they really higher than the risks of a lot of trans people not having access to surgery? I'm not so sure. So my suggestion to you, not that you really, I'm just kind of like throwing myself in here, you know what I mean, would be to definitely seek out another surgeon if it's something that you feel like you desperately need, like I did. Because I was at a point in my life where I don't know if I could have taken no for an answer. I felt like I had no other option. And there are experienced surgeons that have experience on trans men that are bigger even. So, you know, you don't have to feel like you have to settle for less. Definitely shop around, obviously. I know it can get pricey and stuff, so I know that's a consideration. But I know you'll find somebody who is willing to work with you and just try to be safe and really think things through. And I don't know, hopefully it helps. Hey everybody, I'm so excited and proud today. I have to share this, but first I gotta do my spiel. My name is MJ. If you didn't know, I'm a trans man. I have had top surgery. I chose to leave fat because I'm a bigger guy. I felt like it went with my proportions more, to look more natural or whatever for me individually, whatever, different strokes for different folks. But anyway, so anytime I've gone, you know, shirtless in public since I've had top surgery, which was like 6 or 7 years ago, I have never just gone like this. Hold on, let me show you, hold on. I would always like grow my hair out a little, grow my facial hair out. I really can't grow like a full beard or anything. I would just grow it out enough to, like, you know, fill it in, you know, and dye it, color it, whatever, so that I passed more in public, so that I just blended in as another dude. And I would always tell my husband, I'd be like, I'm afraid of just like going to the beach or the lake, you know, shirtless looking as I do, because I feel like I don't pass. I'm afraid like it could be dangerous. I don't know, like, you know, I don't know how people would react. And he'd always be like, that is absolutely ridiculous. You pass fine. You can go shirtless. Nobody is going to say shit. Like, I promise you, it's going to be fine. And I'd be like, you're just my husband. That's why you're, you know, you have to say that, whatever. But the thing is, you know, recently I've kind of, you know, I've just decided I'm going to stop being shitty to myself at times. And I always talk about how I don't pass in public and stuff, and I've always internalized it like it's something wrong with how I look. It's something wrong with how I act, my mannerisms, my voice, my face. I got a baby face, you know. I'd make all these, you know, slights at myself as to why I don't pass. And hello, the reason why I am misgendered frequently in public is because I literally announce to almost 1 million people on a daily basis across platforms that I'm a trans man. I'm literally outing myself on a daily basis. So it was kind of like, like I had to make that realization. But I decided I'm going to stop like being hard on myself, whatever. And also seeing my husband, my husband, if you have seen him, like he is a fucking beast, and he's a trans man as well. He is huge. He is like 6 feet tall. I always brag, and like, 340 or something. He's gigantic. He has a size 14 shoe, an amazing beard, and he gets misgendered sometimes. Like, like it just, especially if people already know beforehand that you're trans, it just happens. So I'm like done getting down on myself about it. So today I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, because I knew that we were going to the pool as a family, and I was like, I am not only going to just go shirtless as I am without spending so much time, filling in a beard and everything and trying to assimilate. I'm just going to go as myself. I'm not going to try to alter my voice. I'm not going to try to alter my mannerisms. I'm just going to go as myself, because you want to know something? There are cis dudes with high voices. There are cis dudes who like, I don't know, what else, that have like softer faces that can't grow beards. Like that's life. So I did it, and today we went, and not only did nobody give a shit, there were tons of families there. Nobody gave a shit. Not only did nobody give a shit, but everyone was so nice. Like they talked to me and shit. Like it was a good day. Like nobody batted an eye. Nobody cared. Everybody, like, I think that we sometimes think people care more than they really do. It was just, I would honestly say that today, 6 or 7 years, I don't know the exact time frame, since I got top surgery. That's a long time. This was the most freeing experience I've had, because I just went as me. I didn't try to, make myself look different, act different, sound different, just to pass in a public setting. I just did, and it just felt really good to be able to be myself, and nobody fucking gave a shit. They just thought I was some other fat dude. They didn't give a shit. Feels good to be just another fat dude. I always joke. I always say I'm like the only guy that was probably ecstatic to get moobs, but yeah, I just had to share that. Oh, did I tell you? I forget if I told you that, but this was like a goal of mine. Like earlier in this year, I said a goal of mine is to go shirtless in a public place. I specifically wanted to go to the lake down the street from me, like where I grew up. I haven't done that yet, mostly because I just didn't pay the fee to get the key. But my goal was to go into a public place without, like, altering my appearance and stuff, and just going shirtless and just seeing what happened. I just wanted to see what happened. I wanted to see, is it really going to be this disastrous experience in my head, or am I just really getting down on myself for something that is not true at all? And it was the latter, and I had a great time. So, hope you're having a good night. Oh no, you got it twisted, okay? So my PSA as usual, my name is MJ, I'm a trans man. I did have top surgery. I chose to leave fat because I'm a bigger dude. Like, I felt like it went with my frame more. Now, a lot of times when I show my top surgery results, like, I get how some people, especially trans men, can't imagine that I wanted to leave fat, whether it meant that I might, pass better in public. Who gives a shit? They can't imagine it, and I get it, because of dysphoria, you just want it all gone. However, a lot of times they'll make comments like, well, they should have just, like this, like they should have removed some of the fat, or you just got basically like a reduction. No, I recognize that a lot of people pre-op were not very well endowed, but I could have fit an alternator under each one, okay? Almost. Let me just show you what I was working with. That is me before top surgery, okay? They literally went down to here. You see my 353 tattoo, like literally. So this is nothing. This is nothing. I got tons of fat removed. I chose to leave some, but no, but seriously, I remember before I had top surgery, right? Like, I'd see all these dudes with, like, little chests, you know what I mean? They'd be pre-op, they'd have small chests, they'd be, like, these androgynous-looking guys, and they could go out and, some of them didn't have to alter their appearance at all to go out shirtless. Some of them just had to put little, like, tape or whatever, trans tape, KT tape. So I'm like, I'm going to try that, right? I remember one time I went to the store, I got a KT tape to, and I'm not recommending any of this, by the way. I'm just saying I did this. And I remember I had to go through, like, 2 rolls. Like, 1 roll for each one, okay? So I just, No, I got a lot of fat and a lot of tissue removed from my chest. I got liposuction, which is like a masculinization technique they do. I got grafts. I can't say what type of grafts on here or else, whatever, but I got grafts done. So it's not like I just went in and said, hey, remove like what do you say, like a centimeter of fat. Like, I didn't do that. No. There was a lot that went into it. I still had double incision. So it's not, that's not really how it went. And honestly, like, I am so happy with my results. I had top surgery like 6 or 7 years ago now, and I'm so happy. Even when I detransitioned, I am so happy with my results. I now go to the pool, the beach, everything. Nobody says shit. Nobody says, just, they leave me alone. They think I'm a fat guy with moobs. I love it. So I wouldn't have it any other way. I think I made a fantastic choice. I was great at communicating with my surgeon. My surgeon was great in hearing a patient out instead of just doing whatever the hell he wanted to do. Because the consult I had before that, that's what was going to happen. So yeah, I made a great decision. But I still had a pretty lengthy surgery. I wasn't rocking like, I had a lot more to work with. Thank you for your question. I know I sound like a broken record, but I gotta say it. My name's MJ. I'm a trans man. I've had top surgery. I chose to leave fat because I'm a bigger guy. I felt like it went with my body type more. Cis men who have my body type, they usually have fat in their chest. So, yeah. So actually, this is a common question I get asked. Like, if I lose weight, will, my chest go down? And the answer is yes. However, I'm sure that my chest will never be, like, completely flat, but I'm actually thankful for that. So I have been very thin in my life. Even post-op, I've been fairly thin, and even when I was at my thinnest, which I'm going to show you guys pictures and stuff soon, I've always had some fat and loose skin in my stomach. And because of that, I really wouldn't want my chest to be completely flat, because realistically, if there was a dude who, like, was my size, had moves, and then lost a lot of weight, like, his chest wouldn't be flat. It would be a little flabby like his stomach. And so I think it'll still look really natural, and it has in the past. So, in my opinion, I think I look the best like this. Like, I think I look good with extra weight on me. I imagine, I've been trying to make healthier choices and stuff. So I'm sure, like, my weight will hopefully go down a little bit in the future, but I honestly think I look great like this. I think my top surgery looks excellent like this, but I will take you back throughout all the journeys of my top surgery and my weight. So this is a picture of me when I detransitioned for a short period. This was towards the very end of going through all that. I am pretty thin there, but I'm 197 pounds, so almost 200 pounds. Once I hit, like, 205, I start looking pretty small. I hold weight very well, and I'm only like 5'7", and that's on a good day. But yeah, so I'm almost 200 pounds there. That's about 40-ish pounds from where I am now. And I'm going to show you a picture that's 3 days later when I retransitioned. By the way, if you want to know more about that, I have tons of videos on my page. So as you can see, even though, like, my arms are very thin, you can't really see my legs, but I have very thin, long legs. I still have fat and loose skin in my stomach, like I still do. So no matter what, even if I appear, thinner with clothes on and everything, I do have loose skin all the time, and usually a little pudge in my stomach. And I think that, like, my chest is probably a little bit flatter there, but it still, has some fat in it, and I feel like it still goes with my body pretty well. Just as a forewarning, if you have a history of, like, EDs or anything, this might be a little bit triggering, but this is a picture of me when I was probably, like, 120, like 117, 120. I was at my lowest. I was a 00. I had a really bad ED. It was just not a good time, but even at that weight, I still had, like, loose skin, and I'm shucking in and reaching up in this photo, but it always, like, kind of hangs, and I always have a little chub there. It's just how my body is, and that's fine. So I think no matter what, my chest will match. And I get pretty vulnerable on here, but I don't know if I've ever been, like, polka dot, heart level drawers vulnerable. Before I had top surgery, I mean, I had the normal fears like, is it going to be really painful? How am I going to react to anesthesia? But one of my biggest fears was that I'd lose my third nipple. Not like a mole rat's psychic level third nipple, you know what I mean? It's just a mole. Can you see it? Yeah, right there. But listen, I've had it my whole entire life, and it's a part of me. I remember my surgeon, he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to save your chest tattoos, and I'm like, that's fine. But I'm thinking, stay the fuck away from that third nipple. No, for real, look, this is before I had top surgery. I hope after top surgery I can keep my third nipple. I kid, it's a mole. But it has 3 hairs now, so I really think it's going places. By the way, it was going places. I was right. It still is. It now has 5 hairs. I call them the royal family. This was like my best party trick growing up. I wowed at slumber parties. It would be such a waste to let that go into a hazard bag. But here I am, post-op, 6 years later, and I still got it with the royal family intact. Alright, you guys, before I go on with this video, I need to do my little disclaimer. Listen, my name is MJ. I'm a trans man. I've had top surgery, okay? I chose to leave fat because I'm not the slenderest, okay? I felt like it looked more natural. Now, summer is coming. Summer is coming. That means I can be shirtless, alright? I'm so excited. Not that I'm not shirtless when it's not summer, but obviously not in public places, okay? So anyways, I am so excited. We're gonna have a fashion show with my fat and tattoos. Okay, so we're gonna decide on how I should wear my shorts, okay? I'm getting old. That's a predicament to me. That's an issue to me. I don't know. By the way, I don't want to hear no chicks like, oh my god, you can go shirtless, but I can't. Deadass, I don't know what to tell you. Women where I live can go shirtless. If you're mad about it, right, you may. Maybe you probably can where you live too. Who's stopping you? I encourage it. So anyways, alright, this is the low rise look. I got 'em low, the gut is out. I think this look is good because I left fat in my chest because I have fat in my stomach. So it's like, I look like just a fat dude. Like you, listen, I put a hat on, put some shades on, I deepen my voice. I know how to blend in, you know what I mean? You might be like, damn, with those tattoos, you think you can blend in. Nah, actually, they do help. They do help. So this is the first option. This is the second option, okay? The mid-rise. Alright, and I kind of like this because I feel like I look like, obviously, a white version of those SoCal, like, Mexican dudes in prison. And obviously, yeah, they're gonna comment, like, we could beat you up. Of course you could beat me up. My son says I have hot dog arms. That's not a huge accomplishment, you know what I mean? But, I kind of like this one, too. I kind of like that one. Alright? And then we have high rise, okay? And now this one I don't like because I do have, even though, I was on T for a long time, I still have, like, this part of me is, like, feminine, like, it goes in right there. Obviously not the only feminine part of me, but it is. I wear my clothes like this when I detransition and present as a woman. But I don't know if I like it. I don't know, because from here it's like, okay, my chest looks bigger in comparison, but then look, Tweedledum. You know what I mean? So I don't think I like it. It's either like mid-rise or hang it all out. What are we voting on for this summer? I'm gonna tell all of you about the first time I went shirtless in like a very public setting. So for those who don't know, my name is MJ. I'm a trans man. I have had top surgery. I know my results are kind of unconventional. A lot of trans men don't choose to leave fat in their chest, but I did. Before I got top surgery, I spent time researching, what I wanted my results to look like, what I was going for. I knew my goal was to pass and blend in as much as possible. I wanted to be able to just walk the beach and people wouldn't even give me a second glance because I'd look like an everyday fat guy, you know what I mean? Like I just packed on 340s, you know what I mean? That's what I wanted. I know it sounds silly. People will ask me, you actually wanted moobs? Yes, I did, because guys my size have them, and that was my goal, to just blend in as another guy. So before I got surgery, I'd research men my size, celebrities my size, stuff like that. And they always had fat in their chest, so I decided that's the way to go. I told my surgeon. He already wanted to do that because he's like, you're bigger, you hold weight in your stomach, it'll look more natural. And this was I think 7 years ago it was so long ago, and I'm still so happy with my results. So the first first place I went shirtless in a very public setting was at the beach. I had been to like a public pool and stuff, but this was my first time being in an area that was very crowded, where like hundreds of thousands of people were gonna be, and I was shook. I was scared. A lot of people asked me, like, were you nervous going shirtless for the first time in public? Yes, I was very nervous. I was very nervous I wouldn't pass, that people would like stare at me, that they'd out me, and I was especially worried about safety because I was always with my son, and I was terrified that, like, what if somebody jumps me in front of him or something happens that's like really dangerous. I was terrified. And so I was with my mom and my son, at that point, when we were going to the beach, and we made a plan that they were going to go off and I was going to go shirtless for the first time just by myself with nobody around. That way I figured, if somebody has a problem with me, if something starts, at least my kid's not there to witness it. My mom's not there to witness it. At least they're safe. And also I felt like it would give me a good idea if it was safe to go shirtless or not, because this was uncharted territory for me, really. I didn't know what was going to happen. And so, yeah, nobody gave a shit. Nobody fucking gave a shit. We think people care way more than they care. They do not give a shit. So yeah, it was fine. So then I went and got my mom and son. I'm like, nobody cares. And everything was fine. We had a great time at the beach. Everybody was awesome. There was only one person that looked at me for like a more extended period of time, and it's funny because it wasn't because I was trans, or I'm 99.9% sure it wasn't, because when we were in the water, I'm like this. I'm like hanging all out. I don't give a shit. To me, like this, I don't care. Like moobs to me are like, I'm so glad that I have the body I do. I know a lot of cis men would not be happy with it, but your flaw is what my goal was. So I was so happy, and I'm still a little nervous, but I'm so relieved that nobody cares. And this guy, I noticed this guy was kind of looking at me, not in a mean way or anything like that, but he was about my size. That's what really struck me. He was the same size as me. He had very similar body composition to me because, a lot of men hold weight in their stomachs and, have chests if they're my size. So he was built just like me. But he was in a shirt in the water, swimming in a shirt, which, hey, no hate. I used to always swim in a shirt, especially I'm Irish. I burn easy. But I really feel like he was looking at me. I got a sense that he was like, oh my God, like that dude's just hanging it all out and he's my size. And like, I feel like, he was, maybe a little insecure or whatever. And I really feel like that's why he was looking at me, because we were just built so similarly. And I was just like, you know what I mean? That was the only person who even gave me a second glance. And it was a really freeing experience. But, that day I definitely, I grew my beard out. I made sure I darkened it so that I'd pass a little bit more. Actually, just recently, 7 years after I had top surgery, I went to a public pool for the first time, shirtless, without, my beard and all that crap, and, filling my beard in. And that was fine, too. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit. So I literally, both occasions, I was so shook. I was so nervous. I was so scared how people would perceive me, and they just perceived me exactly how I wanted, as just another fat dude. So, life is rocking. Just ask me out on a date, Pixie. It's always the closeted ones, the ones that are loudest against any type of LGBT individual who have the most to hide. I have an example of this, actually. Another one, not that I just slammed everybody in their face with a very blatant example. When I was growing up, when I was maybe 16 to 17 years old, I think 16, this is me then, so I was presenting masculine. Mainly, I just said I was a masculine lesbian, but I dressed like a dude, I acted like a dude, always got mistaken for a dude. I loved it. Well, during this time, I had a really good friend, and their mother, I guess, did not like, that I was presenting that way and that I was dating women. And so when I went over there, she would not even refer to me as a human being. She wouldn't even refer to me as my name. She would refer to me as it and thing, which to me is the most insulting, to completely dehumanize someone like they're not even a human being. It was awful. But then I found out a little later that she was really just a little salty because she had recently been caught having an affair with a woman. So calling me an it and a thing, that was all projection. She was just feeling insecure probably about her own actions. I'm not kidding you, it's always people like this, always. My ex, like the person I have a child with, okay, he's passed away, but he was trying to take my husband and I to court because we're trans men and we're in technically a same-sex relationship, marriage, it was a relationship at the time. So he was disgusted by it. He couldn't believe that anyone would influence his child in that way. I have influenced my son a lot. I influenced him to be a very confident and just thriving individual. He's doing great. But he'd be like fighting so hard with the courts, with anybody that would listen to him, to agree with him that we were just evil because we're transgender and raising a kid. Meanwhile, 2 a.m. would roll around. That's how it always happens. And I get one of them late night texts. If I didn't reply in the right manner, it'll be like, oh, sorry, wrong number. The loudest always want to hit it the hardest. Stand in line, Pixie. Alright, you guys, for those who are new, my name is MJ. I'm a trans man. I've had top surgery. I chose to leave fat in my chest because I'm a bigger dude. I hold weight in my stomach, and I felt like it just made sense. Now, before I go any further, I just need to let you know, like I said, in case anyone new is watching this, if you hear any, like, yelling really loud, just really loud noises, my son is autistic. I film at the other side of the house. This is the other side of the house than where he's at. I have a big family. He's fine. He's with adults. Alright, so I like to do these videos from time to time to kind of just spread awareness, you know, that every trans-masculine individual does not want the same results when it comes to surgery. Typically, with trans men, we see a surgery called double incision with grafts. I can't say the word before that on here, I don't think. And I actually did get that. I just, you know, chose to leave some fat behind. My surgeon and I thought it was a good idea given my build. But, you know, other trans men or trans-masculine people have different types of surgeries. Like, some people choose for a mastectomy. Some people go for, you know, keyhole, which is like, you know, more minimally invasive, I believe. There's a lot of different options. Some people choose to just have no ripples, you know what I mean? I don't know how to say it without, you know. But every trans person has different goals within their transition. Like, yeah, some of ours might align, but, like, everybody is obviously different. I mean, me, I typically, like, feel like this baseline of loyalty to trans men. I don't like all of them, but I do have this, like, you know, baseline of loyalty because I feel like, you know, there are certain situations that they can relate to me on that, like, you know, nobody else could. For instance, like my husband, like, he's a trans man, and that's one of the reasons we're so connected, I feel, is because we've had some similar experiences, but not all similar experiences, you know. We do have different goals in our transition, you know. He's private about his, I'm outspoken about mine, and that's how it is in the whole community. Everybody has different goals, different, like, preferences. Everybody's different. When it comes to my transition, my main goal in top surgery was passing. The reason for this is, like I mentioned earlier, I have a son, and it was very scary for me, especially when I was a single parent, to think of, like, you know, walking shirtless on the beach, at the pool, and, you know, what if I get outed? What if somebody notices? You know what I mean? But it was so important to me to be able to, like, you know, have fun family adventures, like, with my family, my kid, you know, etc., and be able to go out and not put my family, especially my young son, at risk. For me, since the goal was passing, I did choose to leave fat because, like I said, I feel like most cis men, and cis men, for those, you know, who don't know, it's just not trans men, but most of them who have my build, like, you know, a lot of fat in the stomach and stuff, most of them have moobs. Like, it's just, it is what it is. Like, it is what it is. Another thing, I didn't really want my scars to show, like, in person. I actually like my scars. Like, I think they're gnarly and cool and everything, but I really, I didn't want them to be noticeable first glance, and you can't really see unless I lift my arms up, because they kind of go with my chest. You know, but other trans men have different goals. Like, there's some trans men who, they just want their chest completely flat. I can understand, like, having dysphoria for years, the desire to just want to, like, you know, have nothing, you know what I mean? Like, I totally get it. But for me, I just felt like this fit a lot more. One of the most common comments or questions I get asked are, like, okay, it looks okay now, but what if you lose weight? And my response is, well, what if I lose weight? Like I said, my goal is primarily to pass, and reality is that if there was a cis dude who was my size and lost a dramatic amount of weight, they're likely going to have loose skin, stretch marks, which, you know, I have when I lose weight. I've been thin before and I have had loose skin. And their chest probably isn't going to be completely flat either. So even if, you know, I lost weight and my chest sagged a little, or, you know, my stomach sagged a little, I still feel like it would look very natural. I feel like the way my surgery was done sets it up for just a natural transition no matter where I go in life. So I really like that. And another thing, I actually spoke to my surgeon about this post-op because I had to go off testosterone not long after I had surgery. So I was really concerned about like tissue regrowth. Turns out that's extremely like incredibly rare. But I was worried because I didn't know, and honestly, like he didn't know either because like my situation was such a rare occurrence. Like I remember him saying to me like, "Listen, you're a trans man. You know, you had to go off T because of liver failure," and then my gallbladder went gangrene in the middle of it. He's like, "This is not an everyday circumstance." So he didn't know what to say, but he was like, "Listen, no matter what, if you ever feel like you need revisions in the future, it won't be a problem to get it covered with insurance. I'm not worried about that with you." The hospital wrote off my entire surgery. I was so blessed, so lucky. But so yeah, that's why that's not really a concern of mine, honestly. A lot of people asked, did I just get a reduction? No, I did not. I actually did get DI, like double incision with grafts. The difference is like if I were to have just gotten a reduction, and I did ask about that actually, because at one point I was so desperate, just like for anything, like, cause at first I felt like top surgery was like inaccessible, because the first surgeon turned me down, even though I had proof that I had been in therapy, since 2008, almost 10 years, and that I was diagnosed with gender dysphoria. So I was like, oh man, this is never gonna happen for me. And so when that happened, you know, I was really discouraged. And so I was like, well, what about a reduction? And he's like, well, I can do that, but it's still going to look like a feminine chest. And he's right, because what happens is with DI typically, like, you know, a transmasculine surgery, what they do is they have liposuction techniques that masculinize the chest. Also, they reduce the ripple size because men's are typically smaller than women's. So it's not like they just took fat and tissue out and were like, all right, that looks good, you got moves. You know what I mean? They resized things, they moved things around, you know, there was a lot that went on. So yeah, I'm very happy with my results, and I think it's important to share my story because I had surgery, I think it was almost 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know, one of those. It's been a long time. And not once have I ever regretted my chest. I'm very happy with it. There's been times I've been like nervous, like I'd be losing weight. I'm like, oh my God, what if my butt, like, you know, but it always just flows with me. And you know, I'm very happy I made the decision that I did. So yeah, just remember to listen to yourself, your surgeon. There's several options. Everybody has different goals and everybody's ideal is different. MJ out. Hi, thank you for your question. For those who are new, my name's MJ. I'm a trans man. I've had top surgery. I chose to leave fat because I am fat, and most cis men my size have moves. So I'm not sure, because like the beach is a public place. So yeah, I go shirtless like at the beach, at public pools, lakes, stuff like that. If you mean like, do I waltz into a CVS like this? No. Because even like, you know, dudes covered in, you know, chest hair and that are ripped and shit and like have never needed top surgery, like they can't walk in there like that, you know what I mean? But as far as just like, you know, being shirtless in places you'd normally be shirtless, I mean, yeah. I am shirtless when I go swimming. I'm shirtless in my yard when I mow the lawn. I'm shirtless, you know, in my own home, I'm shirtless a lot, because, yeah, so are cis dudes. The only thing I haven't done is, like, our property has lake rights, and I have not gone down there, shirtless, because, like, I grew up with a lot of those people, and it's so stupid. I know it's stupid, because I have, like, really great neighbors, and one of my neighbors, I told her, I'm like, do you think people would mind? And she asked around, and everyone's like, no, we don't care. I don't know why I still haven't got the courage to do that. That was a goal of mine, like, this past summer. I didn't do that, but what I did do is I went to, like, a public pool shirtless without growing out my beard and, like, filling it in and shit. Like, I just when as I am like not trying extremely hard to pass and shit, just because I think I get down on myself a lot. Like the reality is like in my transition, I've gotten really scared about things that I didn't have. I don't want to say I didn't have to be scared about, but like the things that I viewed that might be catastrophic and dangerous have not been. I'm not saying anybody should not be careful or safe, but I was really nervous just going as I am to like, public places like the ocean, the pool, things like that, because I always get down on myself, like the saying I don't pass all the time and blah, blah, blah. In reality, I do. Nobody even looks at me. They really don't. Nobody gives a shit. They could care less. They just think I'm another fat guy. They do not care. Another thing I was so scared about when I transitioned or when I started transitioning was the men's room. Obviously, I don't waltz in a men's room like this, unless it's at the beach. I would. But it's kind of unrelated, but I was really scared because I'm like, oh man, like, am I gonna be outed? Like, am I gonna get jumped or something? Like, I was really nervous of that, and, nobody fucking cares. Nobody fucking cares. So, it's anticlimactic in a good way, in a positive manner. But yeah, I go to the beach like this. I go anywhere where I'm gonna go swimming. If I was gonna lay out somewhere, I'd go like this. I don't tan, so you know what I mean. But yeah, anywhere that most dudes are shirtless, you're gonna find me shirtless. So hope you're having a good day. Oh, and my in-laws just rented us a suite for Halloween weekend. So I'll be shirtless in that hotel pool. Hi, thank you for your question. I gotta do my little spiel. My name is MJ. I'm a trans man. I've had top surgery. I chose to leave fat because I'm fat. I got a gut. I felt like it went with my body more to have like moves. Now I don't actually know, like, honestly, if what I have would even be considered dog ears. I wanted my chest like this. I thought dog ears are when somebody has surgery and then gains weight and like right here. There tends to be like sort of little pockets of fat. To me, I mean, it's just me. I don't think it really looks bad because, I mean, I figure if a trans guy gains weight, then, like, I don't know. It's normal to have fat. But, other people have different opinions. But I don't think that's technically what I have, because I left fat everywhere. And honestly, I didn't have to, like, explain myself too much because my surgeon was on board. Like, when I was about to, like, show him what I wanted, he's like, well, I think we should leave some fat in your chest because, you're a bigger guy. Like, it would be, kind of more natural. You hold weight in your stomach. And he like drew me a diagram. I should have kept it, but he like drew a diagram of my surgery. And it's so funny because I remember, like, I never thought that I'd be this happy with my chest. I was at such a point of desperation that I remember telling, even though I picked like a reputable surgeon, like he was good at what he did, I remember telling like my friends, like, if they take the bandages off and my chest is butchered, I won't care because I just want my chest gone. I know a lot of people will probably be like, well, then why did you leave fat if you wanted your chest gone? But like, I don't know what people's definitions of having a big chest are. They were like down to here. So like, I don't, like when people ask me if I even had top surgery, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, to me, like this is not having a big chest. But also, like I said in my last video, I still had double incision. They did grafts. They did masculine liposuction. If you were talking to a new surgeon, I don't know. I guess I would just say it like it is. Say, if you wanted to leave fat, just maybe talk to them about, how much you want to leave. They typically always leave a little bit of breast tissue. Even in trans men who have completely flat chest, there is always a little bit of breast tissue. Always. I've never heard of a case where there's not. And that's to kind of, prevent it from, looking like, it might be a little concave or whatever. Like they try to leave like some tissue in there. So yeah, I guess that's what I'd say. So I don't really know. If I do have dog ears, I love them. I think I'd have a dog, whole face because I have fat all around. You know what I mean? That's how I wanted it, and that's what I'm happy with. And, yeah, so if I were to go to a surgeon again and request it, I would probably, like, if I didn't have surgery, I probably would just tell them that I would like to leave something in my chest to kind of, to kind of resemble like cis men who are overweight. I actually had photos because before I had top surgery, I like looked at celebrities that were my weight. I went to the beach and saw men that were my weight, and not one of them had flat chests. And so that's why for me, I chose what I did. So I hope that helps, and I hope you have a great day. Hi, thank you for your question. I wanted to do a video reply to this because this is a question that I get asked a lot. I do have some videos on it already, but I never mind, spreading awareness and stuff. So, my name is MJ. As a lot of you know, I'm a trans man. I have had top surgery. I chose to leave fat in my chest because I'm a bigger guy. I hold a lot of weight in my stomach, so I felt like it looked more natural. My prediction is no. If I lost weight, would I have to, get top surgery again? I have lost weight, I've been between like 50 pounds up and down, and my chest typically goes naturally with my body. But even if I got to like a very thin weight, I don't foresee myself ever needing another surgery. And the reason I say that is because I hold a lot of, weight in my stomach. So when I am thin, I have a lot of loose skin, a lot of stretch marks, it's just a lot of hanging skin and stuff. Nothing's like completely flat. And naturally, if a cis male, was my size and dramatically lost like a shit ton of weight, likely their stomach and their chest is not gonna be boom, like completely tight, you know what I mean? So because with my body composition, I usually have loose skin in my stomach and stuff, I don't think it would look that bad to have some fat still in my chest or some, even if it was sagging. I think that, would it be like super aesthetically pleasing to most people? No, but it would look natural, and that was my goal. Just like, having boobs is not a lot of people's ideals. There's a lot of men out there, cis men, who I know are like shocked that I'd actually want a body like theirs because, they've grown up getting made fun of. Society tells them that's not how they're supposed to look, and that's what I wanted. That's my ideal, because my goal was just to blend in like other fat guys, and I can do that now. So yeah, I foresee that if I ever lost a shit ton of weight, likely my chest wouldn't be completely flat, but I don't think I'd want it to be anyway. So I don't think I'd like get, any reconstructive surgeries because, I think it would look natural, either way. I'm really proud of my chest, how it's gone, through the motions of my body with me. Like, it kind of like, I feel like it always looks natural, and I'm really pleased with it. And if I ever did, like, say there was ever a day where I was like, oh my god, I need reconstructive surgery, my surgeon is super awesome. He already told me he's not worried about any future surgeries being covered, that, like, it would be fine. Although he did tell me not to get any more tattoos, and I did. But I don't see myself needing any more surgeries anyways. So yeah, MJ out. Hope you're having a good day. Okay, so as a lot of you obviously know, I'm a trans man. I've had top surgery. I only talk about it 97 times a day. Now listen. By the way, I'm going to show pictures of me post-op, so if you can't handle that, ski-daddle. I had what's called, and I can't say this word, if you catch my drift, but I had double incision with ripple grafts and masculinization like liposuction. So what this means when it comes to the ripple situation, like they had to take them off and sew them back on. One time someone tried to insult me by calling me Frankenstein. Oh my god, that is so badass. Anyways, this is my husband, right? So I met my husband like it was a while after I had top surgery, so like I was healed and everything, but and neither one of us had been like physically with trans men before, so like he was kind of nervous, like, and I totally get it. It is completely normal, when you have a partner that's post-op, even if it's been years, to be nervous, to be intimate, because people don't like to talk about it. They act like it's kind of discriminatory and stuff, but it's not. Like, when you have a partner, you care about them, and it's normal to not want to hurt them. It's normal, if you have a little bit weak, of a weak stomach, scars, whatever, like, that stuff is totally normal. If you ask me, it just shows that you're a compassionate human being, and I don't really think that should be shamed. But anyways, so, my husband was very nervous, so I'm gonna try to, like, avoid going into graphic detail. But one day we were, like, about to do the nasty, whatever, and he was kissing my neck, and, you know, I always have my earring in. Well, the rubber piece on the back of my earring, must have fallen out, because all of a sudden we heard, like, a thud on the floor that sounded like something rubber bouncing off the floor, and he freaked out. He was like, oh my god, what was that? What was that? Because it was dark. He thought my ripple had fallen off my chest and, like, hit the floor and rolled away. He was mortified. Fortunately, I have a good sense of humor, so I just thought it was fucking hilarious. Put it in the books to tell later as a great story. But yeah, if anyone's wondering, I haven't had him fall off yet, so...